Tai ką, jau kiek susirinkom, tiek susirinkom. Labai smagu visus matyti naujoje vietoje. Ačiū hostingeriui, kad priėmė mus į svečius. Tikimės, kad draugausim ilgai ir laimingai. Tai sėdėjom ir skaičiavom dabar prieš pat, nes jau beveik pametėm skaičių, kelintas čia tas mūsų meetupas. Tai jeigu mūsų matematika mūsų neapgauna, tai 88 kartą mes susitinkam Kaune, WordPress meetup'e. Labai smagu jūs visus čia matyti. Visą laiką tradicinis klausimas yra, ar yra žmonių, kurie yra pirmą kartą. Ok, tvarkoj. Tai kas tai yra? WordPress meetup'ai yra WordPress bendruomenės renginių sistemos dalis. Pati mažiausia, pati labiausiai kamerinė, labiausiai draugiška, labiausiai mažai formali, kur tiesiog lokalios vietos, miesto, kartais jeigu dideliuose miestuose netgi gali būti vieno miesto rajono, žmonės susirenka į vieną vietą, tiesiog pasišnekėti apie dalykus, kurie susiję su WordPressu. Ir temos būna pačios įvairiausios. Šį kartą aš šnekėsiu apie tokį technologinį dalyką, kolega truputį vėliau turėtų prisijungti biškį pašnekėti apie labiau SEO dalykus ir panašiai. Ir tiesiog turim tokį renginių formatą, kurio tikslas pagrindinis iš esmės yra mums tiesiog susirinkti visiems kartu, susipažinti, nes kas yra ypatingai su lietuviais, mes darom labai daug gerų ir įdomių dalykų su WordPressu ir WordPresso bendruomenė ir visur, bet visi sėdi savo kompiuterį ir daro savo dalyką ir vieni apie kitus nežino. Tai tokie renginiai yra puikia vieta susipažinti, vienas kitą pamatyti, surasti draugų, bendraminčių, verslo partnerių, darbuotojų ir taip toliau. Tai čia yra, kaip sakau, pats mažiausias renginių formatas, kokį mes turim. Didesnis renginių formatas yra WordCamp konferencijos, kurios vyksta irgi ganėtinai lokaliai, tai būna vieno miesto, kartais vienos šalies mastu. Ir tenais jau yra labiau tikra konferencija. Būna visos dienos konferencija, daugiau pranešėjų, galbūt keli trekai. Antrą dieną paprastai darom kontributorių dieną, kur žmonės gali prisijungti ir padėti WordPressui tobulėti visi kartu. Tai toks žvėriukas pas mus bus šį rudenį, rugsėjo 25-26 dienom. Ir irgi jau yra svetainė lithuania.wordcamp.org. Jeigu norit, galit nueiti, užsiprenumeruoti naujienlaiškį. Jeigu turit idėjų, apie ką galėtumėt pašnekėti per tokią konferenciją, tai jau yra atidarytas Call for Speakers, kur galit pasisiūlyti, pakelt ranką, sakyti, aš moku, noriu pašnekėti apie tą arba tą arba tą arba tą. Tai šitų irgi labai laukia. Ir trečio lygio, didžiausi renginiai, kurie būna, tai yra didžiosios WordPresso konferencijos, tai yra WordCamp Europe, WordCamp US, WordCamp Azija. Tai tokia artimiausia mūsų laukia birželio mėnesį, Bazelį Šveicarijoje. Bilietų dar yra, tai jeigu norit, irgi tikrai galit prisijungti. Ten paprastai būna jau apie iki 3000 žmonių, kurie visi gyvena, kvėpuoja WordPressu, tai irgi yra didžiulis įdomus renginys, tai irgi kam įdomu, kviečiu pasidomėti ir galbūt susitiksim ten. Tai turbūt plažiau apie kalbos tiek. Šiaip, dar vienas dalykas, visa bendruomenė WordPress'o šiaip turi tokią visą taisyklių kodeksą, kaip mes elgiamės ir panašiai, kurios visas susikristalizuoja į vieną paprastą frazę. Don't be a jerk. Tai prašom šitą laikytis, būkite draugiški, mandagus ir vienas kitam padėkit. Dabar toksai klausimas, organizacinis dar vienas. Turim vieną žmogų, kuris supranta tik tai angliškai. Ar visiems būtų problema, jeigu aš pranešimą šnekėčiau irgi angliškai? Visiems tinka? Gal net ir geriau. Tai labai gerai. Taip, ir tiesa, taip, po viso renginio visus kviečiam į afterį, Talučio restorane, nuo 19:30. Jo, vasario 16 gatvėje, Talutėje turim rezervuotą stalą, po to pabendrauti neformaliai apie tos pačius dalykus prie alaus bokalo. Viską jau turbūt pasakiau dabar, ne? Taip. Gerai, tai ką, tai tada dabar keliaujam prie jau mūsų temos. Okay, English. Okay, so first of all, a little bit about me. My name is Arūnas. I'd like to call myself a person who talks the most loudly about WordPress in Lithuania. I've done a lot of conference talks. I've been helping to organize this WordCamp meetup, this WordPress meetup, for more than 8 years. And I'm also one of the editors of the Lithuanian WordPress translations. Sorry about that. In my professional life, I started as a plugin developer. I've developed a lot of free, open source, non-open source, and bespoke plugins. And for many years now, I'm working at Kayak as an engineering manager, and I run the content platform there. And talking about that, if you want to work with me, we have a position open. We're looking for a full stack engineer in our open table team. So if you want to work with multi-site, with enterprise level WordPress, that's your chance. Okay, so talking about multi-site and about WordPress. One of the big things that you have to do when you have a WordPress website is maintaining it. Like, building it is a challenge on its own, but we're not going to talk about that today. But once you've built it, you have to keep maintaining that. And by maintaining that, that means you need to keep it up to date. The core, all the vendor plugins, which on average is at least 13, and that stats is probably a bit old. It might be more about 20 nowadays. There might be some custom plugins that you worked on, and maybe you built a custom theme, so that's 3 more pieces of things that you have to manage. You'll have several users. You'll have several pieces of content. That depends, again, on average, at least 200. You have uploads and other stuff. And that's just one side. Now, if you are working well, you have more clients, that number starts to grow, right? So if you now have 10 websites, now you have all that times 10. So you have to, whenever there's a new WordPress version, you have to update that 10 times. Then there is a new plugin version, you have to update that 10 times, and times 13 plugins, that becomes 100. And so on and so on and so on. And if your business is successful, that grows further. And you can have it times 100. Or if you're a hosting provider, you can have it at times 30,000 or million or whatever. Like Hostinger could probably give us a better stats for this, but this is what I've got from one of my friends who is running a hosting platform in Estonia. And there is like everything there. Like if you look at WordPress versions, they still host some stuff that is on WordPress 1.5. 1.5. The latest one we have is 6.8. So a lot of different ones. And on average, they see 12 plugins per install, which for me looked kind of small because a lot of systems that I work with, you can have 50, you can have 60, and sometimes more. And at that hosting platform, they have 22,000 different plugin names. So that's huge numbers. So what does that mean is as your number of clients, number of sites grows, this kind of, it's very easy for that all to kind of get out of control, right? So then it is something that I have called like 5 stages of trying to scale WordPress. So you start to look for solutions. So the first thing that a lot of people try to do is there is quite a few services and plugins that help you when you have a lot of websites. I've listed a few of them here. There are more. But what basically they do is they allow you to have a single dashboard, and from that dashboard you can maintain many different websites. And it is great for housekeeping tasks. You go to one place and it will show you, like, this website needs that updated, this website needs that updated, this website needs that updated, and things like that. As you grow with the number of sites, if we go past like 10, 20, 50, they get quite clunky as well, because those interfaces mostly are not designed to work with like hundreds of websites. And also, most of them are software as a service. So usually you'll have a fee for that, and you'll have to yet another plugin that you have to update and maintain on your website because it is needed as a connector. But it is a solution for this, and sometimes people do that. I've tried it. Didn't work for me. So the next thing for me was multi-site. And that is a special mode within WordPress itself that has been in WordPress core since version 3.0. Before that, it started as its own separate project that was used to power WordPress.com, where they had like multiple blocks there. And at version 3, like a lot of years ago now, it was merged into the main system. And like if you have a WordPress site, you have multi-site in it. You just don't know it. You haven't enabled it. But it's there. And what it does, it allows you to run a lot of WordPress sites out of the same code and out of the same database. It's best if you do that to a fresh install, not something that you already done something with, but on a fresh install. Basically, what you have to do is you have to add this constant to WP config, and then go to a special place and follow the instructions there. It's really not that hard to enable. It takes like 5-10 minutes to just set it up initially, and you're there. Then that means that on that same code base, that now you can run 5, 10, 50 sites. Yeah, and it's a very good solution when you're hosting stuff on a single server. If you have a lot of sites, but you host them at the same place. And data is stored in a single database, and all the sites share the set of plugins and themes that you have provided for them. And they do have the same users table. So if you have a user in one of the sites, you basically have a user in all of the sites. There is a possibility to configure who has access to what, but the users table technically is the same for all the sites you have in the multi-site network. And it is kind of hard in this setup to move one of the sites out. So for example, if you have 20 sites, one of them grew quite big and it doesn't fit in your server anymore. To move just that one site out, it's complicated. You would have to move the whole thing to a bigger server, basically. So, and also, it's kind of, when you have a plugin or a theme, you can either enable it on one site or on all of them, which is not often convenient, because if you have a lot of sites, there might be that you want the plugin to be enabled like on 10 and not on the other 10. So to combat that, the next step that you can do, on top of multi-site, you can enable a multi-network setup. So a multi-network setup is basically creates a network of multi-sites in the same code base, in the same install. And that allows you to divide all your sites into groups. So you can have 10 groups, 10 sites in one group, 10 sites in another group, 10 sites in one more. And then you can enable plugins like for just that group, or just that group, or just that group. It is done by a plugin. It is a small plugin. And it is not a very popular plugin. It has around 300 active users right now. But all the users that use it, those are huge sites, like universities, finance platforms, and places like that, or big media corporations and stuff like that. So, yeah. But if you have a problem there, then you're basically on your own. You have to solve them yourself, because there isn't a huge community of people doing that. So, as I said, you start with a multi-site, you add a plugin, and you just configure things within WordPress with that as well. So, you have more flexibility, but you're still using a single database and a single users table. And as I said, you're at the very edges of WordPress code base, and that means you find very, very weird stuff in there. And I'm going to show some of that later on. So if that doesn't work, then other thing that I've tried before is using Docker and basically creating each site separately, which has its own advantages and disadvantages. The main advantage is that each site will be a separate site. You will not have this situation where, like, if there is a bug in one of the sites, it breaks another site, and you can easily move them out of one server into other server, things like that. And you can still use reuse a lot of things by putting them in the Docker image. So that way, use like a Docker compose file, you pull things in, tell what things you want there, and just use this as a template whenever you set up a new site. So it makes it much quicker to launch new sites, but then you still have all the separate sites that you have to maintain. So you're kind of at the step one here. So you might want to use something like main WP or things like that to maintain that. One other thing that I have done is something that's called multi-tenant, which basically still shares WordPress core, still shares all the plugins and all the assets, but you do a little bit of changes into WP config file, and that means you can use separate databases, separate uploads folders, and the sites are still mostly separate, but the code base that runs on them is the same. So you maintain the same code base, so if you updated the plugin, it gets updated across all of the sites, but it's easy to move them away from one to another and things like that. And it isn't that much of a change, really. It's just, in its very, very simple form, that's what you do. In your WP config file, instead of just having one config file, you select by server name and use a different config file for each of the sites that you have. So for me, for a long time, this was the best solution, because you get the best worlds of multi-site with maintaining code in one place, but also the freedom of moving things out and in whenever you want, and not sharing the same users across all the different sites you have. Because that sometimes can be a good thing, but sometimes maybe not. Problem is the stuff that we have to do to get to that, especially the parts about defining where different files are being stored. Not all plugin developers account for that when they're building plugins. So you can run into plugin compatibility issues with that. Like, that plugin will just not work with your setup because it expects the WordPress content directory to be at a specific place. So that's something that you have to figure out. In general, the thing is that there is no magic bullets there. And depending on what you do, what your use case is, different things might be useful for you. And I've tried all of them, and they all have their own advantages and disadvantages. And after a long, long time, the thing that I landed on was still multi-site, because it is quite well supported, and at least for us, for what we do, it kind of, the mix of advantages and disadvantages is the best. So, about multi-site, the things that work for us is that you have centralized control of everything. So basically, you still update one code base, and you can deploy changes to all your sites at one time. But you still have flexibility because you can enable or not enable a plugin on one of the sites and make changes like that. What it also does, it is very easy to create a new site based on what you already have. it's usually, you can launch a new locale, a new brand in like minutes by just clicking some things in the UI. And you share that overhead, like if you have 20, 50 sites, like all the updates, all the security patches, code reviews, and things like that, they happen at one place at the same time. And for us, having one user table is an advantage because we kind of then connect it to like corporate Active Directory, and it all connects nicely, and we don't have to figure out how to keep user rights up to date on 200 sites, because that would be a nightmare. But that's not necessarily an advantage for everybody. If you have sites that are connected and the users are mostly the same there, then it's awesome. But if you're doing, e-commerce, and you have like a baby clothes store, and then an adult shop, having a count of both of them at the same time when you're just registered for one of them might not be a good thing, right, for your users. So you have to kind of make sure that there isn't like a legal requirement or reputations things that could hurt that. It is also very nice for doing multi-language, which in WordPress by default is quite complicated, but especially if you want not to do like one-to-one translations of every content, but you have different editorial content in different languages, having a separate site for each language makes it much easier to do using multi-site. You basically create a different site for each of the languages that you support. And because of that, multi-site is also really great when you have related sites that are basically the same brand, like different locations, or if you have a university and it has many different departments which have similar design, similar structure. For those things, it's really, really awesome. But because of that, because you still kind of host it in one place, it's one single database, you sometimes run into limitations. One of them is you're a bit limited in terms of how custom you can make things. If there are things that have to be very different at the server level, it might not be possible to achieve both of them on the same server. And then that means that multi-site will not work for you. And also, because multi-sites tend to grow quite big quite quickly, the hosting requirements for them and performance requirements are bigger. And one of the things that you can quickly run into issues is something like scheduled tasks. If you do nothing specific about it, they just start to fail for you. So you have to find solutions to make that work. And because of that, because there's like one code base, one thing in there, the autonomy of making things very, very different on each of the sites is a bit limited as well. So if your sites have nothing to do with each other, you might not get as much good out of this than you otherwise could. It is a shared database, which also sometimes can be a problem, because with the number of the sites growing, the number of tables in your database also grows quite fast. Do you know how many sites by default WordPress in a single site? How many tables does WordPress have? Ballpark. 10, 20, 50? No? By default. Like if you add a lot of plugins, it might be 100. But by default, it's 13. But when you do multi-site, for each site that you add 11 more. Because basically just share two. Users and user meta stays the same for everybody, but all the other tables that you have for each site, you'll have different. So if you had WP posts, you would have WP 1 posts, WP 2 posts, WP 3 posts, etc. So once you start adding sites, the number of tables just explodes. And then, like with default setups, you can quickly run into things like, oh, MySQL by default only supports 1,000 tables. and then you have to ask your hosting provider to make changes to support more, and things like that. So you have to be careful about those things. One more thing that might come into a play is also plugin compatibility. Like, it's not as bad as with multi-tenant, where a lot of plugin developers kind of don't think it's possible. A lot of them also forget that there is a thing that's called multi-site. And because there are some specific differences, the way WordPress works with multi-site and non-multi-site, especially with permissions, sometimes it would happen where something that would work nicely on a normal site, once you enable it on multi-site, like, the options are nowhere to be found, because they are checking for a permission that is not there, and things like that. The good thing about this, usually if we report it, most of them fix it. So that's good, because people want to support multi-site, unlike multi-tenant, where you're on your own, basically. And it's still a problem if you want to move a site out. There are tools for that help out a little bit, but it's still a lot of manual labor to just basically pry one site out and make it independent and not part of the network anymore. Yeah, some fun stories from what we've encountered with. So one of the things that I've already mentioned, in WordPress, there is this capability that's called unfiltered.html. And what that means is if you have like an embed code somewhere, like an iframe or a script tag that you want to put into WordPress from like a third-party thing, on normal WordPress, an administrator or an editor user role would be perfectly capable of doing that. If you are on multi-site, only super admin can do that, and all the other roles are not able to. And it is not really that well documented, so we kind of have to figure it out by just looking at the code. Another part is, like, WordPress has roles, right? Admin, editor, author, contributor, etc. If you are doing multi-site, there is also one that's called super admin. And it shows up in the same list. You can select it as a role for the user, but it actually isn't in the code. So if you want to check if somebody is super admin, is a separate check. You cannot check with like permissions. You have to check, is super admin, or does it have a specific permission? So if you are not doing that, if you're not keeping that in mind, that's one of the places where plugin compatibility issues come into mind a lot. Because plugin developers are just not aware. Yeah, with premium plugins, we've run into this issue where you have to buy a separate license for every site you have in the multi-site, because they don't support multi-site as a thing. So some vendors say, okay, so you have 200 sites, you have to buy 200 licenses. That's not very fun. But it's different between different providers. So that basically, for us, what it means, we kind of, it helps us to figure out which are the good providers. But you have to keep that in mind. Also, if you're doing more advanced stuff, WordPress has this feature that's called switch to block, where when doing something in one of the sites, you can switch to another one, do something, and then come back. And as the name suggests, you are switching and everything should work, right? But it doesn't. It basically, what happens is some of the things switch to the other side, but some of them don't. So for example, if you have different plugins enabled between different sites, you would still be using plugins from the original one and not the one that you switched to. And that might become a problem quite many times. Also, remember I mentioned earlier that sometimes you run into bugs with a lot of cobwebs on them. So this is an actual bug that is still open right now, that has been open 12 years ago. And I've created a patch for it 3 years ago. And I've asked for it to be pushed in last time 10 days ago, and it's still not in production. So yeah, So getting things fixed in multi-site sometimes can be a struggle. If you want to know more about multi-site, just a couple of weeks ago, one of the big agencies, Human Made, has released the definitive guide on multi-site. It's a 30-page document that goes into most of the points I've touched here in much more detail. So you can try that out. It's really a nice document to read. Or we have time. Yeah, a little bit of bonus which I try to always put in. Have you ever heard what WP-CLI is? Yeah, people who have been to the talks lately, they have. But if you're new here, I just want to remind you that a lot of the stuff that needs to be done a lot of the times, WP-CLI is your friend as well. You can automate and make things quicker or just using that. And you can do a lot with that. I've listed a lot of different things that you can do with it, and this is not a final list. There is way more comments that you can use, and a lot of plugins nowadays, they also include comments specific to those plugins, so that plugin can be used from the command line as well. So you can create configurations, you can update core, you can clean cache, you can work with cron, you can do change options, post pretty much anything you could do via the UI, you can do in CLI and oftentimes quicker. Yeah, so if you need to update WordPress, those are 3 lines. Just run them and WordPress is updated. This installs WordPress and creates a new site. And then if you want to do a bit more, you can have some more comments and that would install all the plugins that you want, all the themes that you want. It can create default content and all the other stuff. One thing that for me is very big value is also search and replace function, because it allows you to search within serialized data in WordPress, which is basically the biggest point whenever you work with database dumps. And that just works. I can say no more. Just works like magic there. And also you can run CLI commands on a remote server, so long as your hosting provider supports them. So please choose the ones that do. Any questions? Yes?
If we talk about the multi-site option, so there's going to be like a parent website where you adjust all the functionality for everyone, or for example?
So basically, in the admin panel, there will be an additional section that's called network, where you can manage all the sites that you have. And then for each site, you will have a normal admin panel for each of those sites. So it will be just a like additional section in the admin area. And one of your sites that you have created will be kind of the first one, the main one, but it will be just like any other.
So I can log in into any site and update plugins for all.
Yeah, basically, from anyone. Like if you set up it in a certain way, WordPress will even remember that you're logged in. So you log into one of the sites, you go to admin panel of another one, you're still logged in. You don't really have to like re-log in.
Do you creating that for VPNs?
What?
Do you creating that for VPNs, private backlink networks, multi-sites?
So you can basically create it for anything you want.
Okay.
It can be whatever kind of sites you want that are at least totally connected. Multi-site will be good for them.
Okay.
Wishes. And okay. Any more questions? We can do Lithuanian if you want. Yeah, that's what usually happens. Like if I don't get any questions, I either did a very good job or like nobody understood anything. Feel free to ask me afterwards.
Yes, sure. So if I missed it, will one plugin longer be an issue for all the sites, or one final phishing repository admin? That's it.
Yeah, so it's like one code base. So if there is something wrong there, if there's something like malware or something like that, that affects the whole network we have. So it like you have to be more careful about like putting things in and working with things, but also if you need to clean up, it's only one place you need to clean up as well. So that's kind of there is more impact of any like security issue that you could have, but it's also less contact surface if you have to maintain. Because if you updated that plugin once, you updated it for all the sites that you have.
So in theory, it's possible to dump all, like this one database.
Yep.
Dump it all
Yep.
users.
Yeah. But yeah, but like the same goes with like the hosting. If you have several things on the same shared hosting account, then it's the same thing basically. So yeah, but that's true.
This multi-site purpose is not only for subdomain level domains. It's
No.
for
No, so yeah, I haven't really mentioned that. That's a very good question. So by default, if you do nothing, just enable it. It will be subdirectories. So it could be domain.com/something, domain.com/something else, like subdirectories. But you can also switch on and use the subdomains, and you can even map actual domains. So you can have different domains for each
individual multi.
Yeah. So that's all possible out of the box. And if you need more features there's a plugin called Mercator, which makes it even more powerful in that department. Yes, I don't see you.
You mentioned there are challenges of moving multi-site sites out.
Yeah.
So what are the key challenges?
So one of the main challenges is because you have one users table, and then in that users table we have users for all the sites that you have, but you usually not all of those users have access to that particular site.
Yes.
So you want to kind of like pick them out.
Just delete them basically. And
Yeah, so you have to find a way to just take the users that you actually need out, so not to take like 100 users where you only need 10. So that's one of the challenges, and also because like the prefix for the tables is WP something or whatever you set up, and then for all the other tables it becomes WP site ID and the name of the table. So you have to kind of go in and replace all those as well.
yeah, so after moving the site out, you
Yeah.
basically would have to remove the multi-site option, tweak the prefix, and
Yeah.
make sure that the tables are just in place.
Yeah, so it's still doable. It's just like it's not one click.
A bit more.
Yeah, you need to like if you're a developer, you usually are good, but it's just more work than I would like it to be. Anything else? Oh, if not now, maybe in the break, or if you want, you can email me. And the slides for this you can find here on the internet. There are quite a few links here. Feel free to click them through and read more on the documentation and stuff. So thank you so much. Let's have a little break.
We talking in English or Lithuanian? Everyone talking Lithuanian? Do you talk in English or Lithuanian? English, okay. Hello, my name is Karolis Butkus, and I will going to show a bit about link building or where is the market is going and what is happening in right now. I just met Arūnas last week, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, and we was like met in the WordPress meetup in Vilnius, if I remember correctly. And he said like, come here, like let's talk about backlinks. And like, I think everyone knows what is backlinks is, but let's try to see. And who knows what is a backlinks?
So it's a link to your website on another site.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe somebody is doing link building or something like that for their own websites or.
Well, we create like for SEO, we create like just blog pages, you know,
Yeah.
Google sites, some Medium posts. So we try to include the link to the website there, you know.
Yeah. It's like your private PBN or something like that?
Well, kind of, yeah. So, but you know, we just try to write content and just hope to rank well.
Yeah, it's like building a website is quite fast, but when you want to rank on the Google search, it takes quite a time and quite a hard work. Like today I had a meeting with one lady and my friend company marketing head and the head of sales. And the lady is from Dubai. She is working in the crypto exchange as a COO. And she's like, we were like 5 of us, and she's like throwing ideas like, oh, you can do that, you can do that, you can do that. And like, but okay, it's a lot of ideas. Yeah, it's like you can do it like, it's like creating a website, but you have to go to the office and do the job. And this is the hardest part, the same like to rank in the Google search. It's taking like bunch of money, bunch of time and stuff like that. And we're going to share more about link building and what is happening in the industry. But before that, I will try to a bit explain who I am, like what I'm doing and stuff like that. Like 5 years ago, I go to Bali. I was professional poker player, playing cards, making money. And I go with Zigmas Pekarskas. I think some of you know who's that guy. I think he's right now the most successful guy in affiliate marketing for iGaming. And that moment, his business was like 5-digit, something like that, like quite small, like 3 people. And he started teaching me a bit poker and a bit of online businesses. And he teach me like how to do some online businesses and stuff like that. Maybe in 2 years, I just changed from poker player to the business owner. I create my agency, I get the first customers, and we just little by little was starting expanding in worldwide. And the majority, what is our target was, my target was, is link building. And just 1 year ago, I created a product, Link Pricer, which I'm going to tell a bit later about Link Pricer. I owning the agency, a Link Juice Market, and that agency is doing link building. I think I'm only one person in Lithuania who have a marketplace for backlinks. And we just agree on final agreements for link building campaigns for $1.2 million today. And I'm just after this meeting with those customers. We're signing the documents next week. I'm very happy about that. And yeah, I'm doing CrossFit, traveling a lot. And one fun fact, I have a coffee place in Bali. Then if you're going to Bali, Indonesia, drop me a message. I can yeah, give a great discount. And this picture was taken like in November last year. I was with my assistant in Lisbon. He's with Web Summit. He was testing if the tool is reasonable for the market. A bit about the backlinks. Do you have some questions about me or something like that? Okay. A bit about the backlinks. Fun fact, I just realized today the backlinks appear in 98. That date when my birth was, I'm 26 years old. And some major events happening in the industry through all the SEO world. Before, when the Google created, it was simply quite a simple everything. Like it was not so hard to rank and stuff like that. It was like you're buying 1,000 backlinks and you're in first position. Like it was just almost like this. And around 2003, the first update started, which one hit quite heavily on the SEO, which one like they penalized like massive amount of websites. They reduced the backlink worth for the websites quite heavily, and overnight, like millionaires in America, they just become just employees for another companies because they wake up and, oh, I don't have any more business because I was just buying thousands of backlinks to my website. And people start thinking a bit more smarter. They're still buying backlinks. They still like doing this kind of stuff. And 2011 was pinging update, which one, again, they hit to the website, but this time they just totally removed from a Google search those kind of websites. And again, the same story after like almost 10 years. Again, many people lost their business totally. It was totally lost. Until now, we didn't have something similar like that. People saying maybe one day they're going to do something like that because of link building. But the problem with link building, before everyone was doing very aggressive and very like stupid, let's say they buying everything, all the shit tons of backlinks, and just manipulating Google algorithms was working perfectly. Right now, people is a bit smarter, and the problem, everyone started doing that. Like, I don't know a company who's not doing, like, all the big companies who's competing in very competitive industry, they will go to do the link building. And the total is around 207,000 employees, SEO specialist professionals who's doing on-page, off-page, like technical SEO. Link building budgets vary from website from 1,000 to 25,000, and SEO industry around like over $100 billion to 25 global market. And probably from that amount of SEO, I could not say right now what was the right size for backlink market, but probably like 30% of that amount is backlinks, just positioning for that, because it's the most expensive part for SEO is link building. And the link building is going like to most of the time in 4 directions. 4 types of backlinks is guest posts, PR, niche edits, is link insertions, and PBNs. Who know who is like guest post? What is like guest post? Maybe somebody know? No, you don't.
Maybe a post from a different author on a different site.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're publishing a website in another website. You're publishing article in another website. And digital PR, maybe somebody know PR, press release. It's like you spreading away the word about your business. And niche edits, when you read the article, you see you writing about similar in your website, and you're asking, could you link to me? And the PBN, it's right now becoming very popular. It's like massive amount of websites. It's like a spider nets, which one is building for your website. This means you're building 1,000, let's say, websites just because to link to your website. Only one per post, PBNs. If some of them is becoming successful, they are taking out of that net, they are monetizing, they're increasing the quality of content, they're like making backlink for them. It's like a side small business which is generating like 10, 20,000 a month or something like that. But most of them, PBNs is just a bunch of websites just for backlink per post to made. We have like infrastructure to make the PBNs for in Lithuania with Lithuanian employees, $30 per website plus IP and domain price, and keep going that website. And it's quite cheap to make it, and it's quite powerful to do it, but you have to know how to do this kind of stuff, because if you're not going to do it right, 2013 penguin update, they're going to penalize you, and you're going to lose your business. It's quite fun, no? Investing like hundreds of thousands of euros, and like, bam, you don't have anything. And the WordPress is like massive part of all the link building industry, because based on WordPress, 40% of websites is providing those backlinks, which one we have. Approximately 800,000 websites is selling backlinks. I have the database, which one I'm always comparing the price with my competitors. And around 300,000 is in WordPress, size of WordPress. And it's quite cool when you're thinking about that. Some maybe questions?
It's like the domain have an impact on
It's a really good question. It's impacts. We are doing recovery from old websites who already have like some previous content or previous backlink profile, and we're recovering. We're taking from archive.org the content, we're putting it back to the website, we're building back. It's like we're recovering the website. Some things, yeah?
That's a new domain. You're still buying the new domain, right?
It's expired domain.
Oh, expired. Okay.
It's an expired domain.
So you're searching for those expired domains because they have the weight because of the age, right?
Yeah, the age, because before that business was alive and it was working, somebody was like putting their honest work in that website. Some people write about them. They had good stories, but if some things is changing and let's say they're expiring or they just stopping taking care of them, they get expired, and we sometimes taking them, and it's quite many businesses even doing for you. We have our own techniques how we're doing that, but very often we partitioning those. In the backlink is a lot of even some people is taking those websites and doing 301 redirects to your website. Then you kind of receiving all the backlink juices to your website. If that website is have a good that expired website domain have a good backlink profile. It's like you can do a lot of different strategies if you want to boost your positions. One of scenario my one client did with one sport website, and his position is changed like crazy from maybe position 10 to position 2 or first, and in super competitive industry. But this was 5 years ago. We are not doing that, but some people is doing that. When you're choosing usually the backlink or the website which one you want to publish article about your business or your client business, it's quite important to take to some points. It have to be quality, not quantity. I was November in the SEO conference in Chiang Mai, and everyone talking to the same topic. It have to be relevant, super high quality, and it have to be natural. And if that's what you're doing for link building is natural, it means you're doing something right. And if it's naturally, let's say you have sport website, wedding websites will not going to write about you. But amateur SEOs still publishing in wedding websites about your sport website. You have to just be really have arguments why that article is supposed to be in that specific website. And quality, relevance, and natural. I'm working with one affiliate in Latvia. They have websites around the world, over 100 websites, and they are only in the betting industry. Their strategy for link building is simple: if the website is about sport, they're going to push this. Everything around the world, doesn't matter the price, doesn't matter what, they're going to take that backlink. They one of the most leading company which I know in affiliate marketing. But they are targeting relevance. And naturally, because sport will going to write about betting. We can disagree, but let's see. Let's agree because I said that. Okay. Do maybe have some questions about? Okay. And link building was evolving little by little through the years, and some people saying SEO is dying for the last 20 years. And still they're saying they're going to die. Maybe AI, robots, or something like that will going to come and going to replace everyone. But for now, it's alive. And usually the link building is super manual work. You're texting to webmaster, you're asking what price do you have, you're sending an article, you're checking is everything okay. Then you are checking every month, do the link is still active, and it's really pain to do that if you don't have automations, tools, and stuff like that. Like I mentioned, it's 800,000 database which I have. The biggest database which one people is selling, they have marketplace and they're selling backlinks. Usually they have up to 80,000 domains, which one they could publish the article in that database. Usually, like what I want to say is 800,000 worldwide, and everyone have like database and is like over like 100 marketplaces like scattered through everywhere. And when you want to push this with big quantity, it's hard to manage everything in the link building. And here where I'm coming to my project, which when I go last year to the Web Summit, advertising the what I create. And when I decide to make a marketplace for a link building, it was maybe 20 competitors in the industry. I spent quite a lot of money. I didn't expect that. I was able that moment to buy an apartment in Kaunas. And I thought it's a super good idea. And after like 1.5 years, I got additional 50 customers. And I got, competitors, 50 additional competitors in the market. And the is like industry grow like almost like 3-4 times. And I realized like it's getting hard to collect all the data and be able to understand who could provide you the best prices in the market. And we come up with the link pricer idea. Let's say you want to know how much cost price on the website, and you just simply can check it. Let's say Betty Mates. They cost from 184 to going to the bottom 1,157 euros. Quite a big changes, 10 times from the most cheapest one to the most expensive one. And we made this tool to be able for companies to understand who could provide you the best prices, who can deliver the service, and there's quite many reasons why for some professionals this tool is helping to optimize the work. Maybe somebody have questions about this tool?
Is it paid because it asks me to log in?
It's free, but you have to log in.
Oh, it's registered.
Yeah, you have.
So this is the price to post a link of my site on this website, right?
Yeah, 184 euros.
So it's like it's going to be a content page with one link, or like many pages?
It's going to be just one article, one link to your website usually, most of the time. Some of them is offering like 2 links in one article to your website or to two of your website. Different marketplaces have a bit different conditions. Some of them is offering like 3 years guarantee or something like that. And this is only one link, yeah? Imagine if you have 50,000 budget and you need to publish like 300 links a month. Then it's becoming quite headache. And let's say you're a top leader in your industry and you need to compete with the biggest unicorns, the biggest companies in the world. Point out to Hostinger. We made this. And we have that marketplace. And I came to this WordPress meetup to get answer to my question. We want to do plugin, which one you're going to insert in your website. And then if somebody will going to purchase from Link Pricer, you can approve, would you like to get published article in your website in this specific price or no? It's like a plugin, it's automation to make it more simpler, faster, and stuff like that. I would like to open discussion about this. What do you think? What do you think about the privacy, security? Would you agree with that or no? This is my question, which one I'm trying to solve it out. Because I think this can be like part of possibility for my company to try to offer additional value for the webmasters. If you would have a website, let's say which one could publish the articles, would you do that? Somebody maybe won't share.
Website, can you elaborate a little bit?
Let's say you have a website, yeah? And usually, let's say I'm coming to you and saying I will going to give you 200 euros if you're going to publish the article, yes? Right now, I would send you an article and I would pay you, yeah? But we want to make a plugin which we install in your website. My customer is ordering the article and it automatically is ending up in your website.
But I still need to install the plugin.
Yes, exactly. is usually taking a lot of time to do this.
Yeah, the transfer.
Yeah. Maybe it looks like no, but sometimes it takes like 1 week until the webmaster is answering, uploading, publishing, sending invoice, and stuff like that.
I need to think about this, but it's interesting. I think it's possible. Everything is possible.
Yeah, everything is possible. I just have to do it. It's a nice idea, which is worth of 1 cup of tea.
But it should be going backward too.
Yeah.
If you have some, if you want to publish to get a backlink from other site, maybe you should have a plugin of WordPress.
Yeah.
Just there you can get a list of the sites where you can publish your website.
Yeah. Do you
Not
think?
to post in your website, but your website to post in other sites.
Oh, that's like multi-layer, like
Yeah.
three-way.
Two-way.
Two-way.
From WordPress, you could send the request to other sites.
Yeah. To send a request.
Oh, it's like link exchange, something like that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I will take my profit.
That's interesting. I need.
Maybe it will be more competitive to sell or something. Because when you make it, you need to boost in the search panel your website, and you need a lot of backlinks.
Yeah.
But you still need to write the article first, right?
Yeah, you need the article. You
You write the article, and you need to boost it.
yeah.
You have a plugin with backlinks. You just choosing where to post and where to get backlinks. It's better idea.
It's a very good idea. I'm going to write it down, this one. Because it would help a lot.
You will make let's say kind of market of posting posts and getting posts.
Yeah. That's true. But coming, would you, because I had discussion with my friends and would you install the plugins to your website? Because me, honestly, I'm not installing in the WordPress plugins. Like, I'm not installing like this kind of a service plugins. I'm usually installing like if I really need the plugin. Would you install to your website this kind of a plugin easily? If yes, what kind of reasons you have to have? What kind of going to criteria would be?
If I would have something like a shop, big shop,
Yeah,
I would install
yeah,
all my products.
yeah.
If I just have some for my personal website,
You probably will not going to do that, yeah. But like example about the security.
what are the risks? I mean, what we can leak the article in terms of security.
When I was in Chiang Mai, I met a lot of black hat guys. It was like, they had one like, I think his name was like Johnny, something like that. And he was like offering like, oh, can you organize you like for 30,000 euros, like a backlink almost like from a Google or something like that. And they like can hack like everything what you say and stuff like that. And one of the offers was like, oh, I can organize you plugin, which one is existing on a lot of websites, and you can hack all those websites. And like, no, dude, I don't need that, you know. And and this is the thing is like when I'm in this industry, which is a lot of black hat things, which are they manipulating algorithms, they hacking website and stuff like that. I sometimes like quite afraid to get involved in some plugins which is questionable. And in my opinion, like people will not going to agree to install plugins in their websites. And that's why even the backlink thing, because to publish a backlink in the website, it's a lot of people trying to hack another website just to be able to publish backlink in somebody's website. In some scenarios, big companies don't even know their website is hacked, and somebody is selling the backlinks for a very nice margin, super nice margin. Probably building the houses for that.
Yeah.
And the question is like the security, like how to solve this.
Yeah, well, in terms of security, I think
Arunas.
a
everything is possible. I see it, but like in terms of security, like we talked last week about this, like I think the very important step is once you have the plugin in, if somebody wants to publish, that the website owner still has this step of like I approve, I agree that this will happen. So it's still the website owner who is publishing the actual link. It just makes it quicker to kind of create the article, create the thing, but you still publish it yourself. So that would give you a lot of kind of trust, and it would be harder if somebody even hacked like your API or anything. We could probably create a draft in my website that you would be able to publish.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it's a layer of security that would be important for you.
Okay. One of your Okay.
There's still those things like, SSL, like normal hosting provider. Those are all small things, but you need to
I should show you our HackerOne profile sometime.
Maybe just use WordFence, plugin.
Don't get me started on that.
The premium version, though. Okay. Or just disable the XML RPC, the API.
Oh, well, if that is not disabled, then you're just asking for trouble.
I just want to be honest, I didn't understand anything of that, just to be clear. Like, but I'm happy you had the good discussion. We can keep going. Like, do you have something like questions about the projects or what I'm doing, or some kind of a like?
So PPN is like a private backing network?
Yeah.
So it's like to be like a good provider of SEO services, do I need to have a big database of websites, where I can post this backlinks, or can I be a good specialist if I don't have this database and I can buy domains, like you said before, like write fresh blogs and everything?
If you want to be a good SEO specialist, it probably depends on the scope, like what kind of a clients you want to like land it. If it's like a bigger customer, you're going to have like strong in all those kind of specific things. Like, but if you want person army, let's say, then it's definitely, I would say, like one thing is for one person. It's hard to be everywhere really good, and to understand how it's working on page, technical and off page, like it's quite hard to be everywhere super good. I'm a specialist in the backlinks. I know like how it's supposed to work technical SEO, on page SEO, but I never selling this, and I never giving like for money consultation about this. For backlinks, my expertise is quite high. Like already I think 8 years when I'm doing this, and many conferences and stuff like that. But to answer to your question is, I think niche thing is better comparing wider thing.
What about AI? Is it okay to use AI nowadays for writing blogs, or Google punishes it?
I don't doing my own websites. Then how it's ranking, I would not able to answer to you that. Some articles is ranking well if it's local languages. English language, I don't know. I know the local languages is ranking quite well if it's AI written content. Google not punishing this kind of stuff. But if you want to rank quite well in the Google search, what we doing right now with the link price, I could even show some example. We taking the biggest leaders in the industry. We taking their backlink profiles and we comparing how much they approximately spending for link building. This is the example. We take right now just only the template, and we create this design with AI, but all the data is fed from our database. And one of our team members right now creating a way to calculate how much the backlink is supposed to cost from our database. And if you have original data, which one you create from yourself or you collect somehow, you definitely have way higher possibility to rank on the Google search and higher position. What we did right now, majority of our database is coming from majority of information which one we're going to write about is coming from our database, and we're putting a bunch of info which is only from us is coming. We are like a data source of what we're doing, and you could like you could do like this is from the beauty industry. You could try to like take 5 articles, the best articles ranking on the Google search, and make like the best article on Google. But this is like you kind of taking the same information and you rewriting by, in your opinion, how it's working. And what we're doing, we are creating our own information, which one is based on facts from our database, and we're making like a case studies. That case studies we're using for our own articles for link pricer. We're not launched for now. The plan is to do these case studies on the top articles about each industry, what backlinks are existing, and on the top to do AI content video format on the LinkedIn and social media and stuff like that. The very important factor is to have your own original information as expert. Which one we can come back to SEO, which one is the new algorithm update. If I'm correct, 2017 is EATT, E-A-T-T. It's about trust, authority, and something else about that. And the thing is, it's more about how knowledgeable you are about your industry and how good you are and how strong is your profile and stuff like that. When so much content is right now appearing in an online, it's hard to decide who is really legit and who is really knowledgeable. And if you're writing the content on your website, it's very important to have a good writer profile. If you want to rank higher, this would be very good additional thing, not only original information from your website or from your own like expertise, but and your own as a person, like long history of writing in different websites, maybe big history on LinkedIn, and a lot of like conference, something like that. Which one in the Google eyes, you have a special ID as a product, which one they associating with you, everything with that. So like example, if somebody will going to publish, we was in here, and Carlos Butkus and linking to LinkedIn, I was here, Google will going to detect as me was here, and additional reputation points as a knowledgeable, trusted person in link building industry. And if I'm going to make article about link building, it's a higher possibility I will going to rank higher.
Maybe you can ask like a different question about, you know, there's like a tag in head, you include meta keywords. I've heard that maybe a few years ago, Google's not paying attention anymore to that. But maybe you know something, your personal opinion, is it still effective, or you can just forget about it?
I could not answer to this question too. Like about the future, which one I forgot to tell you about, guys. You said about AI content, and I'm not sure how Google is reacting about meta tags and keywords inside those meta. But where the industry is going is like a lot of Google search is going down because of AI. And from my personal like opinion, what is going to be with the link building industry is supposed to even grow more, because the content is significantly more coming in the internet, and probably the Google search is reducing the searches, and the indicator which one is to decide or the content is good or no is writer, let's say, and the backlinks. Because if the website like Forbes.com and another place is writing about you, probably you're doing something good, like from that mindset. And this is, I think, where is the backlink feature is going. Additionally, what is showing up right now on the practices is mentioning your brand on the articles without the links. I forget how is the name of that in English. Just writing an article about yourself but not linking to your website.
On a separate website without the link.
Yeah.
So Google indexing the keywords.
Yeah, as no link mention. No link mention. Yeah.
What about Gemini?
And how about that?
The search gonna evolve, and Google mentioned it in I/O 2025. So how the link building in the future is future-proof, because all the search results may be like filtered by artificial intelligence from the Google side. So
Yeah.
is it future-proof, such link building?
Like I believe is going to be very high impact for AI decide what kind of outputs to give by how much people, let's say, recommending another people. Like how to like explain this one? Coming back to that topic, link building I think is going to be a major factor for AI, because how to for AI to decide which content is better. In my opinion, the link building will going to be one of a major factor. Next week I'm going to Zakopane, in one of the biggest SEO conference in Europe, Poland, and I will going to be for like 3 days from morning to evening in AI discussion about the optimization. I would able to text you back and answer about this, what the top expert is. You can take my contact. I could answer to you guys if you're interested, but right now, just assumptions.
It's very new, because I/O was 2 days maybe ago or a day ago. So Google just mentioned it about
Yeah.
about new experience with the search results, like the talk with the AI agent.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe it's gonna be like that and change everything, or maybe it's
Can be.
gonna be old way, just the links baked in AI.
Yeah, it's can be changed a lot, but still, from my point of view, is like they have to evaluate what kind of a content to give to the user, and the biggest factor right now from all of them is the author and backlinks. I don't see another things which one is supposed to change AI opinion about something.
I have no knowledge about how we are training AI models for search results, but like the niche agents,
Yeah.
I think something like that is going on with the search. If it's in one area,
Mhm.
it's gonna be very very precise and
Yeah.
only about that topic. For example, if it's travel opportunities, hotels and so on, it's gonna be maybe ranked another way.
Yeah.
Which one we don't know, and it's gonna change the search radically.
For now, it's not so many. Like the last time I was in November on the conference, and was not so many topics regarding AI optimization, and but I think because not so many people like coming up with ideas how to do that, but 2 days ago I was talking about with one venture capital partner, and he told like majority of his invested companies, those companies optimizing their content for the Bing search, and Gemini is taking Bing search results and giving output to the users. Then from his reasoning, like some people start optimizing content not for Google but for Bing, because AI is collecting that information and showing to the people.
For example, for me the main thing from the Google like changes all was for example Google local business account.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier you could just rank, just make the review, and you never been there.
Yeah.
And Google now tracks your phone, tracks if you really were there,
Yeah.
and only such review is legit.
Yeah.
And you no more can just give bad rating for the business if you wasn't there.
Oh, nice.
So it's quite good opportunity to filter all the relevant user reviews. So
Yeah.
Google searches for new approaches. So they For example, from Android phones, we can get the data. Also, it was such thing like timeline
Yeah.
in your Google account. So we're rolling that out, and only with the user agreement, because it was at default, like you if you don't opt out, you have this timeline. So now it's going to be only with the consent.
Yeah.
So, for example, such things, maybe, for example, if you
Yeah.
if you searching for the best hotel, maybe the relevance of your position where you are with your phone and the last good reviews, maybe the main ranking thing for results that you're searching for.
I think it's a very valid point of yours. Like travel industry, like definitely supposed to be regarding
It's
reviews.
only one like
sector.
to drag Arunas in our conversation, but maybe he will not apply how the search. The travel industry is evolving.
You're in the travel industry.
Yes, I am.
Oh, that's nice. Like, I think you had a discussion with your colleague, but yeah, it's. I know some things about black hats. Some. I never did that. My friend told me, and
The virgin.
yeah, totally. And they're doing like clicks manipulation for the Google. Then majority of impact for the Google searches is coming on the location-based people. Like if they're searching for anything and in that country. And if we're going to buy a lot of fake clicks from India, they're not going to work.
Yeah.
But if we're buying from Lithuania, it's working. And position increasing. Temporary, but it's increasing. And I think definitely regarding reviews is very valid point. Like they're going to evaluate by the last reviews which one was given to the hotel. I think it's very
I
good.
don't know exactly how it impacts the natural rating in the SEO results, but
Yeah.
Search Console doesn't show that. But I think Google has its point.
Yeah.
Strengths.
I'm very curious how it's going to evolve in other industries. Through the past reviews. What do you think? How is going to evolve AI?
I'm not sure yet.
I'm not sure yet. Nobody's sure yet, but
Not sure yet.
okay, then I know what we have to do. We have to buy like a big warehouse, take like 100,000 phones, create the fake profiles of people, and then go by manual way and clicking, yes?
Such farms exist on scalable. You can find, for example, we are buying only one model of phone because it's very good for farming. You can put it in such a farm and do all the things with that phone. You don't need to change the software and nothing.
But how about the plagiators? Not plagiators. Where you, I forget the name. When you can create device in your computer. Emulators, yes. Isn't emulators not working?
You can do with emulator, but with emulator, for example, you can buy also for Mac devices, for iOS, you can buy the cloud services and so on.
Like if you're just doing like a lot of emulators on the same computer, you have the same IP address.
Yeah, and they will find
It's
Google.
a lot. So if you have actual physical devices, they have their own SIM cards.
Yeah.
So they are like really separate devices as far as like Google goes.
Yeah.
And with emulators, that just doesn't work.
Another business idea, yeah?
Yeah. I remember it was like 3 years ago. I was living in Bali with 3 gays guys and my girlfriend. And I was learning how to do this emulator thing. And it was quite funny because I cannot know, is it not possible to change the IP address? On the emulators. It's possible, yeah? It is a solution. Even the Google, like your location, you can change of that emulated device.